They weren't just cut from the show. They were wiped off the map. Gone overnight. No warning, no explanation, no reunion special, no goodbye montage. TLC allegedly banned Andrei and Elizabeth for life. Not a break, not a hiatus, not a quiet phase out. A total, permanent, behind-closed-doors exile. And when it happened, even veteran crew members said, "We've never seen anything like this." I'm Oliva from TLC Drama Files, and if you've ever wanted the raw truth behind one of the most dramatic disappearances in 90 Day Fiancé history, this is that story. Hit that subscribe so you don't miss the real tea, and tell me in the comments, was TLC right to pull the plug, or did they lose control of the storyline they built too well? Now, let's get this straight. This wasn't just some couple fading into franchise irrelevance. This was Elizabeth and Andrei, the couple that brought in real heat, real chaos, and real views. Fights between Andrei and Chuck, awkward cookouts with Charlie, Moldovan wedding drama, pregnancy arcs. They were a TLC super brand. And then for them to be suddenly ghosted like a dropped plotline, you already know that kind of silence only happens when something dark exploded behind the scenes. Court documents haven't revealed anything yet. But production whispers have been making the rounds, and what's being described sounds less like your typical creative differences, and more like DEFCON 1. According to insiders allegedly tied to post-filming cleanups, things started spiraling after one specific meltdown, when Andrei reportedly cursed out a producer, stormed off during a night shoot, then refused to return until their deal was rewritten on the spot. That moment didn't air, but it happened. Crew saw it. At least one smartphone camera rolled on it. And that's not all. Multiple social media fan accounts began spotting strange patterns. Elizabeth scrubbed all 90-day related posts. Andrei started posting cryptic stories about fake friendships and snakes smiling for the camera. The whole family, yes, even Chuck, vanished from TLC's lineup completely. No holiday specials, no Where Are They Now, no promo appearances. If you blinked, you'd think they were never part of the franchise. No official word from TLC, not even a tweet. But that's the point. TLC has a pattern. When things go legal, they go silent. And the minute you realize how valuable this couple was in terms of ratings, it becomes even more chilling. Because why would a network walk away from a goldmine unless they absolutely had to? Stick with me, because this is where it starts to get explosive. What could push a top-rated couple into permanent blacklist territory, and why are insiders reportedly terrified to speak publicly about what they saw behind the scenes? Before the ban, before security got involved, before producers were allegedly told to erase entire scenes, Elizabeth and Andrei were TLC's chaos cash cows. Let's not pretend otherwise. They weren't background filler. They were front and center. Explosive, unpredictable, emotionally exhausting. Sure, but highly watchable. And for years, that's all that mattered. When they first appeared on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, it felt like the usual setup. An American girl from Florida falls for a brooding guy from Moldova. Classic reality TV chemistry. She's independent, bubbly, sharp with comebacks. He's blunt, territorial, always one word away from detonation. At first it was cute. Then it turned combustible. And TLC loved every second of it. The show milked the dysfunction for ratings. Fights between Andrei and Elizabeth's brother Charlie practically became their own subplot. Thanksgiving dinners turned into live-action therapy sessions. Moldovan wedding prep was edited like a mafia movie. Every time the Podhost family got together, it felt like a grenade had already been tossed. We were just watching when it would go off. And somewhere in a control room, producers were probably grinning while the audience raged. The show fed on that intensity. They didn't just follow the drama. They turned up the volume, turned the lights on, and labeled it must-watch TV. Andrei became the perfect villain. And Elizabeth? She was the wild card, defending him one second, turning on him the next. The more tension they showed, the higher the views climbed. And to no one's surprise, the couple and their family kept getting invited back. But here's where things start to edge into uncomfortable territory. Because behind the scenes, according to multiple unconfirmed production sources, the behavior got harder to manage. Andrei wasn't playing along anymore. He wasn't delivering drama on cue. He was allegedly fighting with producers, refusing direction, ending scenes mid-shoot. What made great TV on screen started becoming unshootable chaos off camera. And yet, season after season, he returned. Why? Because it worked. TLC wasn't deleting drama, they were scripting around it. Exploiting fights, weaponizing family dysfunction, editing to maximize tension. The more outbursts they caught, the longer the episodes ran. The cycle fed itself until something shifted. Maybe it was ego. Maybe it was burnout. Maybe it was Andrei leveling up from cast member to self-proclaimed production critic, allegedly accusing the crew of setting him up, painting him as the villain, controlling how he looked on screen. Suddenly, he wasn't just hard to work with. He was calling out the people in charge. So what changed behind the cameras that made producers flip from cashing checks to calling security? And why did it take TLC years to stop feeding the fire they helped start? By the time lights were up and cameras were rolling for what would quietly become their final season, things on set weren't tense. They were fractured. The production crew wasn't dealing with a high-maintenance couple. They were dealing with a hostile one. And according to multiple people allegedly tied to filming, Andrei wasn't just unpredictable. He was unmanageable repeatedly. He reportedly walked off mid-scene. Not once, not twice. It became an actual pattern. If a line felt too scripted or too manipulative, he'd stop mid-sentence, toss down his mic, and storm off. "This is fake," he allegedly yelled more than once, hands in the air like he was protesting a setup. Some crew members at the time believed he thought the show was deliberately making him look like the villain, twisting footage that showed him as hot-headed and controlling, then leaning into that reputation harder each season. It didn't stop there. On at least 2 occasions, according to crew chatter leaked through fan accounts, Andrei refused to film unless scenes were rewritten, not edited, rewritten. He'd allegedly stand on set, checking the call sheet, then push back directly at producers. And the longer it went on, the less it seemed like regular reality TV disagreements and more like sabotage from within. And then there was Elizabeth, stuck right in the middle. Sources said she tried to keep the peace. Not because she was siding with TLC, but because she wanted to finish the job. She cared about protecting their family's image, protecting her contract, and probably protecting the paycheck too. But she couldn't control Andrei whenever he hit defiance mode. The more TLC pushed for big moments, the more aggressive his resistance became. Some of the crew, reportedly, didn't want to return for another season with them. One assistant allegedly cried on set after being shouted down for trying to fix a lighting delay. Another was told to cut scenes around a walk-off because airing the footage could be a legal risk. What should have been trashy TV gold was turning into legal minefields and morale killers. Andrei allegedly began to disregard his showrunner entirely. And when that didn't work, he started talking renegotiation. Big time. That's when things truly started spiraling out of control. In the weeks leading up to contract renewal talks, he allegedly told insiders he wanted final approval over how scenes were edited. Yes, final cut. On a reality show. For producers, that was unheard of. Never mind that nobody in the cast gets that level of power. It would break the entire system. But he wanted it, pressuring TLC to hand over creative control because, his words as reported, he was tired of being their punching bag. Meanwhile, Elizabeth was breaking down during meetings, torn between a show she gave years of her life to and a husband who was becoming more defiant by the episode. So why did Andrei suddenly demand editing control? And who behind the scenes allegedly warned producers that this situation was a slow-burning, reputation-shattering time bomb? The explosion was coming, and no one knew what footage he already had in his hands. It wasn't a calm table read. It was a showdown. Veteran producers. Legal reps, Andrei arms crossed. Elizabeth trying not to cry in front of everyone. What was supposed to be a routine contract renewal spiraled into one of the tensest confrontations TLC had faced with a core cast member. This wasn't negotiation. It felt like a threat. Andrei allegedly came in hot from the very beginning, making it clear that if he didn't get what he wanted, he was out. For years, TLC had shaped the narrative, focusing on his temper, his control issues, his fights with Elizabeth's family. And now, according to sources familiar with the meeting, he wanted all of it to stop. No more selective edits, no more scenes designed to provoke him. His demand? Full creative oversight. Not suggestions, control. He reportedly told execs, "You show me the cut before it airs, or I'm done." Nobody gets that on a reality show. It would effectively mean he decides what makes him look good or bad. And if that wasn't enough, insiders say he asked for a higher paycheck and the power to veto framed drama, scenes he believed were fake or manipulated. That's when, according to crew whispers, Elizabeth broke down in tears. Not a performance. Not for cameras. Real crying. She allegedly tried to talk over him, trying to de-escalate, saying they should stick to the deal they already had. But Andrei wasn't backing down. From TLC's side, lawyers stepped in. quietly but decisively, because refusing to film is one thing. Demanding edit control? That's a network liability. Even worse, there were now rumors swirling that Andrei might have been secretly recording meetings, or at the very least, threatening to. Someone told a blogger that he had receipts to prove the show's editing was deceptive. Another said he was thinking of leaking unaired footage to show the public what really goes on behind the scenes. But after the fireworks, something strange happened. TLC went dark, like blackout silent. No follow-up statements, no confirmation, no word on when they'd return, no goodbye post for a couple whose drama fueled half a decade of content. Was Andrei bluffing, with zero evidence, and a chip on his shoulder? Or did he really have something in his back pocket strong enough to shatter TLC's carefully sculpted reality TV image? Either way, the network wasn't willing to call it, because next, things got physical. And the footage allegedly proving it? That's what changed everything. The footage exists. Multiple insiders, and even a few former crew members on off-the-record burner accounts have all confirmed it. There's a video stored God knows where, allegedly showing Andrei blowing up in a parking lot. Not a regular outburst. Not a reality-style rant edited for drama. A real raw moment. No set, no script. Just flames. He's yelling at a producer by name, demanding they stop twisting everything, accusing the crew of setting him up on purpose. The camera doesn't flinch. Andrei allegedly walks toward the person filming, even as they back away, still rolling. Someone eventually shouts, "Cut," even though it's not an actual scene. Someone else calls for security. The video ends. But according to an insider with knowledge of it, once the higher-ups reviewed it, they decided that was the point of no return. Even worse, that incident came just weeks after rumors began surfacing that Andrei had been secretly recording conversations with production, without their consent. If that's true, it would be a direct violation of the ironclad NDAs cast members sign before appearing on camera. TLC's contracts are airtight. Zero room for leaks. Behind-the-scenes content is considered proprietary, and leaking it isn't just a fireable offense, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. But Andrei didn't seem to care. Allegedly, he'd already told at least one other ex-cast member that he was saving proof that the show was fake, that producers fed lines, created conflicts, made family members repeat emotional scenes until they looked explosive enough for TV. One insider claims he'd been sitting on receipts for over a year, and now he was thinking of using them. Back home, Elizabeth reportedly couldn't hold it together. People close to the couple say she started pulling away, posting generic content, ducking questions about future seasons. At one point, she removed every single hashtag related to 90 Day Fiancé from her profile. It's as if she was trying to quietly unwrite the story she'd been part of for years. Because all of this, it didn't just affect the two of them. It swallowed the entire Pothast family. TLC had allegedly started editing Liz's family out of scenes, too. Chuck, Charlie, even Jen, all removed from future segments. Their storylines gone. One producer reportedly told a friend that the situation had become legally radioactive. Keeping anyone connected to Andrei on air would look too risky, too explosive, too willing to keep playing with fire. And so, one by one, they vanished. But here's the twist that's still haunting fan forums and private DM threads. Did Andrei really record secret footage proving the show manipulates reality? And if so, was that the final straw that triggered TLC's scorched earth response? There's more. Because the real paranoia didn't start until those leaks made it online. They didn't disappear. They were erased, no final scene. No, thank you for the memories. Just silence. 1 week, Elizabeth and Andrei's faces were splashed across TLC's social media promos for upcoming specials. The next gone. Not blurred, deleted. Their names were stripped from episode descriptions. Their segments were cut from reunion trailers. Even behind-the-scenes teasers got quietly re-edited. Fans noticed right away. Reddit exploded. Where's Andrei? Why isn't Elizabeth's family in this clip? Did TLC really just pretend they were never part of the franchise? The rumors were everywhere. Producers weren't responding to DMs like they used to. Some cast members unfollowed Liz and Andrei overnight. Others stopped liking their posts. Studio interns were allegedly told to begin scrubbing content connected to previous seasons that heavily featured them. And then, the comment section chaos began. Viewers asking questions on TLC's official pages, deleted within hours. Fans tagging Elizabeth in throwback content, removed. Entire fan accounts started disappearing. Or worse, posting strange, vague apologies before going dark. Something was clearly not normal. Behind closed doors, things were even messier. According to insiders, TLC initiated a quiet round of legal cleanup. Existing footage was pulled for review. Writers were sent new story direction updates, bypassing any plot lines tied to the podcasts. PR teams were told not to acknowledge the couple in statements. Imagine how serious this has to be. TLC walked away from a family that fed them multiple seasons of high-performing content. People inside production allegedly feared there was more wasn't public yet. The real worry? That Andrei didn't act alone. Some insiders believed he might have had help. Maybe a friendly crew member who rolled footage off hours. Maybe someone bitter at the network who wanted revenge. The idea that clips could have been leaked by someone inside shook things all the way up to network security. Because if that was true, TLC wasn't just dealing with a cast scandal. They were facing internal betrayal. Could one leak really be enough to torpedo a franchise? And who inside TLC might have helped smuggle those recordings out? The pressure wasn't over yet, because the next move wasn't TLC's. It was Andrei's, and he was already calling lawyers. By the time the ban was in full effect, and every trace of their storyline had been wiped clean, Andrei wasn't sulking in silence. No, he was reportedly gearing up for a full-scale counterattack, using the one weapon TLC never wants to see in the hands of a disgruntled cast member: a legal team. Multiple blogs started circulating whispers that Andrei had been in contact with attorneys about filing a lawsuit against TLC. And not just for wrongful termination, which would already be messy considering contracts are airtight. He was reportedly looking to go for defamation. His argument? That the show's editing intentionally made him look unstable, aggressive, and even borderline abusive to boost ratings, regardless of the long-term consequences on his public image or future job opportunities. In his words, according to one source, they destroyed my name so they could keep their storylines alive. Now, defamation suits like this rarely go to court, especially involving a reality show where most participants sign away nearly all control through expansive NDAs and liability waivers. But what makes this situation different and more dangerous for TLC is that Andrei allegedly claims to have proof that foul play happened in editing and production, and possibly that internal communications exist where producers knew they were manipulating him into a villain role. That kind of claim might not shake courtroom walls, but it's a PR nightmare, especially when compounded by another growing rumor that Andrei isn't the only one ready to blow the whistle. Allegedly, he's been reaching out to other ex-cast members who were also burned, discarded, or quietly pushed out after their storylines got too messy, too hard to edit, or too close to real-life trauma TLC didn't want to show. According to insider accounts floating through 90-day fan pages, there were even talks of starting a support group, a literal DM circle of reality stars turned reality casualties. Imagine that. A union of the misrepresented, all with footage, memories, and documents they technically shouldn't even be talking about. If true, that would scare any network. Because it shifts the dynamic from Andrei being a loose cannon to a possible rallying point for other cast members who feel exploited. And then there's Elizabeth's family, the Pothasts. Especially Chuck. He wasn't part of the alleged parking lot incident. He didn't film the now infamous rage monologue, but he paid the price anyway. After Andrei was blacklisted, TLC reportedly told the rest of the family there was no clean way forward. That because their contracts were tied to Elizabeth's and hers tied to Andrei, none of them could continue on without it turning into a legal circus. Calls were had. No more filming. Just like that, Chuck's income stream evaporated and Charlie's messiness had no screen to spill into. According to one producer who allegedly worked with the family, Chuck was livid. Respected internally for being reliable, available, and always amped for drama, he found himself erased like some background extra. And based on people close to him, he expected to be allowed back, even without Andrei. When that didn't happen, insiders say he felt betrayed, and the rift between the family and the network turned permanent. It's rare to see so many layers of a reality show implode all at once. You've got a central couple accusing producers of psychological manipulation, lawyers allegedly being prepped, ex-cast members possibly joining ranks, a once loyal family getting caught in the crossfire, and behind all of it, a network so silent it only makes the speculation louder. Some say Andrei's bluffing, that he's too volatile to organize anything strategic, that he's burning bridges out of pride, not purpose. But others think this goes deeper. That maybe, just maybe, he wants to bring the machine down. That the lawsuit talk, the rumors, the leaked footage, all of it isn't about coming back. It's about exposing how the sausage gets made, how storylines get Frankensteined, and how personalities get twisted into caricatures until the audience forgets they're watching real people. It's a dangerous game. One that could blow open long-hidden secrets about the way 90 Day Fiancé and other shows like it operates behind the scenes. But if Andrei truly has the footage some believe he does, the question won't be whether TLC can shut him up. It'll be how far he'll go to make sure people hear him. So is Andrei fighting to save his reputation? Or was this a one-man war with one goal, take the whole machine down with him? Because what comes next might change how audiences see reality TV forever. So where does that leave them? The couple TLC tried to make vanish, and the family who got caught in the fallout without even getting the chance to say goodbye? Elizabeth has all but ghosted the 90 Day Fiancé world. No hashtags, no hints, no clues that she's coming back. Her Instagram now looks like any other influencer mom's feed, filtered selfies, baby updates, and vague quotes about letting go and moving forward. It's polite, careful, controlled, which, coming from someone who used to clap back at viewers in her DMs, says a lot. She's rebuilding the house from the inside with the curtains drawn tight. Andrei, on the other hand, has taken a very different path. Since the alleged ban, he's been louder, bolder, cryptic in every sense. Posting videos calling out fake people, hinting at networks that lie, uploading shirtless gym rants that somehow pivot into loyalty and betrayal. He's not naming names, but he's naming intentions. If you're listening closely, he's not over this, and he might not want to be. There were whispers a few months ago that a certain streaming platform was interested in picking up the couple for a new unscripted series. That it wouldn't be about their past feud with TLC, at least not fully, but about what happens when a reality villain tries to start over without the edit. Clean shots. Full transparency. Their rules. So far, nothing's confirmed. But Andrei's IG Lives lately? He's hinted more than once that a new kind of project is coming. Whether it's YouTube, a subscription model, or a full streaming docuseries, he seems ready to go direct to audience. No producers, no scripts, no middleman. It begs the question, is he in control now? Or is he just chasing a microphone that doesn't belong to him anymore? As for the network, TLC's response has been clinical. Dead silent. No public statement. No mention in interviews. Not even a vague reference on ancillary podcasts or gossip roundups. One producer allegedly told a friend, the strategy is simple, wait it out. Erase them fast. Don't give it oxygen. Don't answer questions that'll open legal doors you're trying to keep shut. In the short term, it's working. Most new viewers wouldn't even know Elizabeth and Andrei were once core players in this franchise. But longtime fans haven't forgotten. And honestly, that's what scares the network most. Because if any of the footage Andrei supposedly holds, those behind-the-scenes clips, leaked producer convos, off-camera rants, if any of that ever goes public, the whole game could change. Viewers wouldn't be able to unsee it. It'd be like watching Oz pull the curtain on the wizard. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes this so sticky. It's not just a fight between a network and a difficult cast member. It's a collision between control and exposure. Between a couple who thought they were playing by the rules and a network that thought it could control every frame. There's no denying Elizabeth and Andrei willingly signed contracts. Or that those contracts likely gave producers the freedom to edit, shape, and brand them however the show needed. But intent matters. Especially when the edits allegedly began bleeding into their real lives, impacting family relationships, damaging reputations, even affecting their ability to get other gigs. Andrei may not be everyone's favorite cast member. Frankly, he made himself hard to root for. That temper, that ego. The constant my way or nothing energy wore thin, even on fans who like the drama. But it's also fair to ask, where does the show end and the manipulation begin? Did we witness real personality flaws, or a carefully sculpted caricature that served the franchise until the puppet cut its own strings? The truth probably lives somewhere in the middle. Fame is addicting. Power works like gravity. And when you're on reality TV, every win can become a weapon if someone else holds the camera. Elizabeth built a brand. Andrei built a war. And TLC? They built the machine. Now all three are left with the fallout. And no one wins in the end. Not really. Because here's the scarier part. If this kind of behind-the-scenes chaos can happen to one of the franchise's most visible couples, how many other stories have been buried before the rest of us ever noticed they were gone? And if you think this was TLC's worst feud ever, Wait until you hear what exploded off camera with another cast member. That story's deeper, dirtier, and even more dangerous.